is Emma Gravely. I am 24 years old. I live in Flowery Branch, Georgia, and I graduated in May of 2020 from Valdosta State University with a major in mass media and a minor in marketing. I really loved Valdosta State. I knew from the minute that I stepped foot on the campus, and I actually really wanted not to like it because my parents wanted me to go there. So I really wanted not to like it, but I just couldn't help it. So I love Valdosta State, and the mass media program was really great, and I saw it grow. I wasn't in it when I was a freshman. I was undecided. I went in as a sophomore to the mass media program, so I was in it for 3 years. But I really loved it. It was really great, and I got to see it grow a lot when I was in it, which was really awesome. Yes, so I did, we used to do showcases. I don't know if they still do them, but we used to do showcases. I placed in a few of those. I never got first, but I got second and third a few times for some of my short films that I did with my groups. And then we did a screening of Production 3. So there were 3 Production 3 classes when I was in it in fall of 2019, and we actually got a local theater to play our films, not to the public, but for us. So that was pretty awesome. They hung up our posters, and we got to sign them, and we got to walk down the red carpet and sit in a theater and watch our names on a theater screen, which was really special. I did, yes. I graduated with 3.78, I'm pretty sure it was. So that was, especially with a major and a minor, that was really, really, really rewarding for me to be able to do that. Because
Yeah.
I really wanted to be able to get one of those awards, cum laude, summa cum laude, or magna cum laude. So I was really happy that I was able to achieve magna. I've always been not necessarily a perfectionist because I do know kind of when to stop, but I'm a very, very organized person. Um, and if I set my mind to something, I finish it. So I think that really helped me, especially my sophomore year, the first semester was very stressful because there's a lot of group projects, and some people, and everybody's different, so this is okay, but some people are just trying to pass, and then there are some people that are trying to excel. So if you are one of the few, it's usually a few, that just really want to excel and not just pass, you have to kind of take on that extra role and take that extra step. And I never really thought of myself as a leader, but I was able to determine that if I am one of, again, it's usually a few, that really wants excellence and not just acceptable, then you kind of have to step up and be a leader. But you're not a leader by declaring yourself one. You're a leader by showing that you want better. Well, I think the most important thing to remember in those moments is that you can't be the best at everything. Um, and usually when I felt like something got sacrificed for the sake of the project, it's because there was something else that I put my time into that mattered more, that I wouldn't change. There were some times that I went and I helped my friend study instead, or times that my best friend needed me, and I sacrificed a little bit of studying time to go and help him, but I wouldn't change it for the world because he's my husband now. So,
Hello.
so in those moments that maybe I felt like I didn't get the best outcome because I chose to go home and see my brother play baseball, or because I went and spent a weekend with my best friend or something like that, then you're like, dang it, I went and did this instead of working. But in the end, you're worth more. The number that you get on your GPA, that paper, whatever, it's not ultimately what defines you. So sometimes you have to give up that number on paper, even if it's just a little bit, because that can't be the only thing that matters. No one thing can be the only thing that matters. It can't just be the grades. It can't just be your friends.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be an equal balance. So sometimes you're going to have to give a little somewhere, but as long as you can justify it, it makes it okay. Yes, so I graduated into COVID in May of 2020. So I was part of the virtual graduation group. And then I went back and I walked in fall of 2021. 2020. Fall of 2020. They did walk fall of 2020, just not spring. So at first there wasn't really much to do for anybody. I mean, the whole world was shut down. So, I mean, you really couldn't do much. But I have a lot of family members that have their own small businesses. So I decided after a month or two of just feeling bad for myself and not being able to do anything like the rest of the world was, I decided that I really wanted to use what skills I had to help small businesses survive COVID, because my family was opening their own small business and they signed the papers the beginning of March before everything got shut down. So we really had no choice but to open this business, or we were just going to lose everything we had put into it. So this business had to be opened in April of 2020 because that was what the paperwork had said. So it was either open it or lose everything, and it was a restaurant. So luckily we had a drive-through. But I was just like, this can't fail. It has to succeed. So I started jumping on. I was a mass media and marketing major. So I took everything I had learned from both of those, took to social media, and made sure that our family's business was going to have a good opening. And it did. Luckily, that was when people were trying very hard to support small businesses the best that they could so they would survive. The opening day was absolutely amazing. We were able to do drive-through and car hop and mask and have seats at social distance, and it was a really great opening, and it was just a great feeling to know that I was able to help that succeed. So then I went to my aunt and another small business that was in town where I worked, and was just like, hey, if you need social media to get you out there to make sure you survive, I can do that, because I was from Covington, Georgia, so the entire square is just small businesses, privately owned businesses. So I was like, that was what I wanted to do, was just help with that. And I did that for a few months. And then I also took on a project from September to December of 2020. There was a film called The Happiest Man on Earth. Billy Flanagan, The Happiest Man on Earth, and it is an entirely Zoom, or at the time it was entirely Zoom. They did add a bit more in person, but it was a mostly entirely Zoom style documentary about Billy Flanagan, who is a performer at Disney. He is a performer. He has reached 40 years, but at the time that I had started, he was at like 39, I believe, performing at Disney. And when Disney shut down, like a lot of people, he just didn't know what to do with himself because he had been performing his whole life. So he started bicycling to all of his friends' house, his family's house, and performing for them at their doors. So he would go knock on their door, step 6 feet back, and then do a little performance for them. And somebody that I had met at one of the South Georgia Film Festivals knew that I was interested and reached out to me and asked me to be a production assistant for him for that project. So I did that for a few months, and I helped them edit and organize files and scrub through interviews and do stuff like that for that film, which came out at the end of last year. So it's on Amazon Prime and DVD now. Absolutely. I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I hadn't been involved in the South Georgia Film Festival and met Cullen Douglas and Randy Goodwin. Those were the two people that brought me onto that project, and I never ever would have known about them if I had not been not only in the mass media program, but also involved in it. I was in the South Georgia Film Festival student organization that helped pick the films that go into the film festival. And then the year that I met them, my senior, this happened a week before we shut down for COVID, was the South Georgia Film Festival. And I met I didn't meet Colin, but I met Randy, and Randy was like, I'll keep in touch with you, give me your phone number, and I was one of the co-presidents that year of the South Georgia Film Festival. Yes, it is so much fun. It helps you learn, whether it's for better or worse. It really helps you learn if you want to look at films critically. It helps you, okay, what did this film do well? What did it maybe not do well? Having to make that decision of like, not only what films go into the festival, but why. Like, is it because the cinematography is really beautiful? Is it because the soundscape is amazing? Is it because it's just funny? Like, what about it makes it a good film? Yes. So I don't work too much in media anymore, but it's really, really helpful to have that ability in your back pocket to use, because so much of the world now is media. So I work in skincare now, and you're constantly coming out with new products, new services, everything. And when I started working at the company that I work at now, they did not have a very strong mass media presence at all. So I really helped them build that from the ground up. They were doing just basic stuff on Canva. They didn't really have any live action shots or like actual people using the products, doing anything like that. So I was able to really help them grow from just static Canva pictures that they put together with stock photos to having an array of footage, having an array of videos, coming up with original ideas, getting them on TikTok, finding the sounds that are viral right now, the trends that are viral right now, how to use that to their advantage. So that was really beneficial. I don't think knowing a lot about media could ever hinder anybody. It could only help. You're not going to get it all at once, and that's okay. Um, and that's the trickiest part. Um, just you're not going to get the best job right off the bat, and you're not going to get everything you want all at once. It takes time, and it takes a lot of patience. So be ready for that, but be okay with that. But on the same level, don't settle for less than you're worth. The film industry has a very interesting way of saying that you have to do all of the grunt work before you really get up there, and you do have to pay your dues, but don't settle for less than you're worth. Have your eyes open to everything that it can offer you. I went in thinking that I wanted to be a director, and then I wanted to do Foley when I learned sound. And then I started working with sound and realized I really didn't like editing sound. So then I wanted to be a production assistant. And then I went into film commercials, which is when I added my marketing degree. So it just, have your eyes open to everything. Like I said, the Billy Flanagan movie, it is on sale. The DVD is on sale on Amazon, and I believe it streams on Amazon Prime. It's called Billy Flanagan, the Happiest Man on Earth. It's a really awesome story about a really great man. It has some Disney in there. It has a really great story about a man who, struggled with his identity and his growth as a person, even older than we are now. And it's a really great story. He's an absolutely wonderful man. I got to talk to him. I got to see him perform live. It's an absolute treat. So if you ever get to see him at Disney, you should do that too. But definitely check out the film, Billy Flanagan, The Happiest Man on Earth, because he is one of the most genuine people in the world, and he deserves everything good that comes from that film. So even if you don't watch it for me, watch it for him, because he's an absolutely amazing person. So